Hey, what's up? Welcome back. My name's Donovan Patrick Mahoney, and this is my vlog. Um, yeah, if you're new, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. Thanks for coming back. Um, so in 2008, I was working as a carpenter, and I I don't remember what day it is. It doesn't really matter. But anyways, I was working and I ended up walking off a deck and landing on my head, and I hurt myself really bad. I ended up finishing out the day, and but thank God my boss at the time told me, he said, you got to make a report, and for safety's sake, it was a super high profile job at the time. It was the Olympic Village, and so it was a high profile job. They had cameras, and safety was a big thing, thank God. And I woke up the next day and I couldn't move. Like, my neck was so sore, and I'd been sober for, so it was 2008. So I'd been sober for just about 2 years, and at the time I'd come from a school of thought that you couldn't take um, any painkillers whatsoever outside of Tylenol. So I was really afraid of taking anything for pain. And so I just kind of accepted the pain that I was in. But at the time I was getting paid uh, my my wage from WorkSafe, and then all of a sudden I had all this time, and you'd think that that would be so awesome, like I'm getting an awesome salary, and now I got free time. But actually, I went into a huge depression, and um, I ended up deciding that maybe I better you know do what I'd always talked about. Like, I want to go and lay on a beach, and so I ended up jumping a plane and I went to Mexico. And when I was there, I've never been so depressed in my life. And it was such a strange feeling to be in this like beautiful, serene place, um, not have any financial concerns. And actually, I had like a lot of pain relief. What I noticed when I was there was that the heat relieved me of a lot of the pain that I was in. Um, but anyways, when I was there, I was really started to be really concerned about my sobriety and staying sober. And at the same time, I realized that I also needed to do something. You can't just sit around and do nothing. Like, you this idea that um, people, if they had money, are just going to sit around and do nothing is a total farce. Like, you'll you'll basically go to your mind. So for whatever reason, I realized when I was down there that um, well, I wanted to do something, and I needed to be proactive in my healing. And for whatever reason, it occurred to me that I should check out Bikram's hot yoga. So I came back and I went to my first Bikram class, and it's it was 90 minutes in this like super hot room. I think it's 90 degrees or something like that. And I got my ass handed to me. Like, it was a super humbling experience. I didn't realize that there's all these, you know, that there was some serious male self-defeating beliefs that had been instilled in me since I was a kid. So there's these women in the classroom, and they're like doing the class start to finish, crushing it, and I'm a man, and I couldn't finish a class. Like, I was laying down a lot. I felt like I was dying. I was just super angry. But for whatever reason, it just kind of, it got in my head. I'm like, I gotta do this. And I started to go every day. And I started to notice things right off the bat that started to challenge everything that I thought I knew. Like, for instance, like, why was it so difficult to do a standing tree pose, or standing on your knees and putting your hands behind your back and lifting up your chest, doing camel pose? And, I would get really angry. But at the same time, like, I could go to the gym and I could squat, like, pre-injury, I think I was squatting like 515 pounds for sets of 3, which is a ton of weight. Like, I don't know that many people that can lift that much weight. But then there I'm going to yoga and I'm falling apart. And so I really started to pursue, like, investigating what was going on inside me. And the really beautiful thing about Bikrams, the super special thing about Bikrams, is a couple things. One, it's a set series, so you're doing the same thing every day. Like, nothing about that series changes. The length of time, the series, and I think most importantly, like, that room. You walk into that room and it's exactly the same every time. And I was able to start to really realize that life was coming from me, not at me. And so what I mean by that is, like, you go into that room, and the room's exactly the same, the postures are exactly the same, the temperature is the same. Different people come and go, it doesn't matter, but it's like a microcosm of the world. So there's like male and female in that space. But because of the static outside world being like the room is the same, I really could see that, every day. Like, one day I would go in there and it would be like, I'd be totally on fire. I'd be like, oh man, I crushed that. It was like the best class ever. And then the next day I would go in there and I'm like, oh, I'm a fat piece of shit. I'm so stupid. I'm a loser. I'm this and that. And so that really started to inform me that life was coming from me. Whereas before I got to yoga, I thought life was coming at me, so that everything was happening to me, but it's not actually the case at all. It's like how I perceive the room, how I perceive the people around me, how I perceive these poses. And with that information out, it totally started to change, everything around me. Like, I can look around this city, for instance, and, it's generally the same. Like, nothing changes. So, the streets are the same. They're not building brand new streets every other day. It's the same streets. It's the same buildings, the same mountains, the same ocean. But my experience when I wake up every day is totally, differs vastly from day to day. And that's just my perception. So once I started to, like, understand that nothing is happening, nothing is changing around me, that really this is just some warped perception that I'm having, I was able to start to manage life much more it just became much more manageable for me, you know, like I don't buy into so much of the story anymore. Whereas, like, 20 years ago, I'd be like, oh, like, Vancouver sucks and this and that sucks. And no, it doesn't suck. I, my perception sucks. Vancouver's actually exactly the same. Um, so, yeah, yoga's powerful stuff. Same with meditation. Like, meditation's been so cool to just find, like, like, I think it's incredible that I even found my way to meditation, where I somehow, at my core, I realized that that was something that I needed to do, was to stop stuff going in. So stop, being visually stimulated, sound stimulated, physically taste, touch, like your five senses, just shut everything down, but be awake. And in that space, my body can actually start to do whatever it needs to do to heal itself, by giving it the space to go to work. Like, I was teaching the other day and something came out of my mouth, and it was like, the body doesn't need the mind's help to heal a broken bone, but the mind somehow thinks that it has something to do with that, and it doesn't. Actually, it just gets in the way. But when you give the body the space, it will heal itself. It's an incredibly intelligent piece of like, it's, I don't want to say machinery, but you know what I mean. So anyways, yeah, I just thought I'd talk a little bit about my experience with yoga, because I'm starting to find my way back to yoga and meditation. It's been about 8 months that I've been off, but last week I ordered a meditation cushion set, so like a zabuton and a cushion to sit on, a couple bolsters, a couple blocks, chip block, some sandbags, because yeah, it's super important in my life now to be doing this kind of stuff. And I hope to, down the road, as this channel evolves, is to actually do videos where I teach, and so that, like, if you want to come to this channel and you want to do a 30-minute restorative class, then you'll be able to find that on this channel. Or if you want to do a 30-minute meditation, or a 30-minute yin or hatha, or whatever, because it's one of the things that I'm certified to do. I've been teaching now since 2013, so 7 years, and yeah, I love teaching. But anyways, I needed to make a video, and I needed something to talk about, and today that's what I decided to talk about. So hopefully you liked it, and if you did like it, please like this video, and if you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe, because this it's gonna grow, man. Like, I believe wholeheartedly that something really special is gonna happen here, and is happening here. So it'd be cool to have you along for the journey. That's it. Thank you for letting me be of service and giving my life purpose. Namaste. Have a great night.